I'm Martin, and my 17-year-old son Luca is a social media star. He's known as Mostly Luca. He has 4.8 million followers on TikTok and over 1.2 million followers on Instagram. When you're just a parent in your house with a son who's making content in his room and telling you that he's famous, it didn't mean anything. He would tell us he went live and people were following his live stream, and my wife and I would look at each other on the couch and go, what is he talking about? What is he doing? Once he started to legitimately become a social media celebrity, he would be invited on meet and greet opportunities, and you see dozens, if not hundreds, and occasionally thousands of young girls just swarming around and giving your son all of this attention. It's when it really sank in. As Luca started to become more popular on social media, he withdrew himself from school, and he found going to school difficult. The taunting, the teasing became constant. It was very difficult when we found out Luca was getting bullied. It's one of the downsides of teenage fame on social media.
Luca and Martin join us now to talk more about his journey. Thank you both for joining us. Luca and Martin, we have an audience, our virtual audience today, filled with other influencers on different platforms who look at your story and say, listen, I want that kind of following. I want that kind of success. But your story shows that it comes at a cost sometimes. The whole reason you started to be an influencer, as I understand it, was that you had difficulty meeting friends, and this was a spot, even though it was virtual, where you could connect to people.
Yeah, it was just another way for me to express myself. It was kind of just like the fact that I could post whatever I want. And if someone didn't like it, obviously they wouldn't have to follow me. But like, I felt as if like people followed me because I liked my content and they could relate to it. So it was just a way for me to do whatever I want and get positive feedback for it sometimes.
You were 13 years old when you posted your first. It got over 400,000 views, 75,000 likes. That was the one we're looking at, is one of the videos that made you blow up. What did it feel like, especially, as I understand, someone, again, who had a difficult time making friends at school? Now you've got all of these likes and all of these friends. What did that feel like?
It was a crazy feeling. I just got out of school, and the first thing I did was go to check my TikTok to see how it was doing, and it just blew up for me. And the first thing I did was I went to tell all of the friends I had.
What did you tell them? I'm a star. Well, how did you explain it?
Well, I told them, I was like looking at, I was like, oh, look at this. Every time I refresh, it's like another like, another like. I didn't even know what to say.
You say that the positive feedback was important to you. I mean, you're a teenager. I totally understand it. Listen, I'm far from my teen years, but we all thrive with positive feedback. When it started to turn negative, what were you seeing?
Honestly, at the time I had like a really, I wouldn't say it was a bad haircut, but I had big hair, and I was getting comments like, you have a bird nest on your head, or I don't know, just really stupid names. It hurt a little bit. And at first it got to me. As I progressed through social media, I would say I guess my skin got like thicker, like they didn't start to get to me. But I'd say you get more positive feedback than negative. So at the same time I was getting the negative feedback, I was always just mainly trying to look at the positive ones and be like, I can keep going. Like, I'm not going to let it affect me.
Well, Martin, I mean, you're seeing this and you watch your son do something that's bringing him out of his shell. He's becoming popular on social media, and then it spills into this dark area, also at school, where you found out he was being bullied.
Sure, it's hard because I think as a parent, all you want is for your kids to be happy. I think especially parents of this era, you just want to focus on your kids' mental health. So I was super stoked, super happy for him to have found this path that was giving him a lot of joy. But the last thing you want to hear as a parent is that there are negative sides to these things. I learned myself to stop reading the comments. As he started to grow in popularity, I was looking at the comments, looking at what people were saying, and then I would start to read the comments that were negative or bullying, and it would be very difficult for me. I would want to try and act upon it, and I would tell myself, I can't do anything, I can't comment. This is his path. I just made sure he kept a level head and stayed mentally healthy through this.
Well, you can delete a comment, but this was trickling into school.
Yes.
And what change were you seeing there at school?
It was mainly verbal. Like, I would just go to school and I could tell when I was walking by the halls, I would hear the kids. They'd be like saying little things to get at me, and I would just I would let it be. Like the verbal things didn't bother me, but I think, well, one day a dude grabbed me by the shirt and told me to like stop doing TikTok or something.
Wow.
And that was when I was like, hey, I don't want to go to like I didn't want to go because I didn't feel like it was a safe environment for me to be at anymore.
Here you are so popular online and you have the likes and all of the positive vibes, but at school, as you described, things got pretty bad, including a physical confrontation. You decided to ask your parents if you could leave school. Was that tough for you?
Oh, of course, because I knew at the same time, the last thing my parents want to hear is that I don't want to go to school anymore. But at the same time, it was like something needed to be done. So
Martin, I mean, as a dad, to hear, yes, he's having a great time on social media. I imagine he was also, do brands pay you? Was he bringing in some money from this too?
He was just starting to at that time when he shifted from elementary school to high school, was right when his popularity really sort of escalated. And he was being reached out to by brands, by musicians to promote their music. These opportunities were starting to come in.
So financially, he's got an opportunity to make money. Also, he wants to be out of what he saw was a bad environment.
Yep.
How did you come to the decision to support that?
It was hard, probably the hardest decision or one of the hardest decisions we've made, my wife and I as parents, because although we discussed it, he didn't really present us with an option because he'd already made up his mind. So when he came and told us, he wasn't asking us if he could leave school and just do school online. He was telling us, and it turned our world upside down for days, weeks, but finally we realized we had to accept and approach this different path and go with him on it and be there by his side and find an alternate route. He'd already done his research, we did ours, and he just transitioned quickly to doing the same curriculum online. But it wasn't easy.
Right. So you did your school online. I think by the numbers, Luca, they tell me there's around 40 million other influencers who have over 1 million followers. Is this something you see long term? Do you keep doing it until what is they ride until the wheels fall off? What's the strategy?
Now I actually want to start. I want to start doing music. So hopefully through this, I can push my music, especially using TikTok. I can use it to push my music and be an artist.
Well, Martin, we're from a different generation. I'm sure when
Yes.
these checks and offers come in, you can make how much money doing this? Did you have that shock of how much money this kid could make doing this?
It's a little bit overwhelming. My wife and I always talk about it. It's hard work. He grinds. He's been working hard for 5 years. So I'm glad he's, finally benefiting from it. But it's amazing how much money these TikTokers and influencers can make from the opportunities that come to them. But he's earned it. It's very different than the people you've had on earlier on the show through that social experiment. He's spent 5 years doing this organically. He's done this all through his hard work, his creativity. So I figure he's earned it.
Wow, it's a fascinating story, and I can't wait to hear your music very soon. I imagine more of it, Luca. Thank you for joining us, Martin. Thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot.